So I've been reading a couple of articles the last couple of days about the new developments at Efteling in the Netherlands. Efteling is the biggest theme park in the Netherlands. It gets about 5 million visitors every year, so it's quite good competition with Disney and Europa Park. It's looking to build another 2 roller coasters, but one of these roller coasters is actually going to replace an existing one, which is which is the Bobsled roller coaster. Which has been operating since 1985, as you can see here. They've tried to keep this going, I believe. It's one from Intamin, it's not Mack. And they have tried to keep it going. I think there's loads of maintenance issues. I was at Efteling twice last year, and I think both times it was actually down. I'm pretty sure it was down the first time for sure. I'm not 100% sure about the second time I came to the Efteling, which was October last year. But when I was there, April 2018, it was definitely down. You can ride at all, and I've seen it up and down the whole time, the availability over the sort of last year. So I can understand, if it's causing them a lot of problems, it's best to just get something new, and that's what they're doing. So Max Moritz is the new roller coaster. It's going to be a family Mack Powered roller coaster, which is interesting because the Mack hasn't built a lot of these recently, and I wonder if the technology's moved on. Is it going to be something like Runaway Mine Train at Alton Towers, or are we going to get something a lot better than that, something a lot more modern and maybe a bit faster, even more intense? But it's definitely family orientated, so don't expect anything too crazy, I guess. But they released some artwork for this the other day, and it's kind of plain, it's kind of black and white. Max Moritz, 2 achtbanen voor donderstenen, which means 2 roller coasters for little rascals. And that's just a logo for the roller coaster. We do have some more details about this that was released a while ago. This is, all been kind of in development for a while, and it's not really been a big secret, I think, because the Efteling has to constantly ask for permission to expand and things like that. So we do get a lot of details about what's going on. It's kind of unlike the approach that, for example, Phantasialand takes, where with Fly, where things are very secretive. No one really knows anything about the layout or the exact look. And there's been some people taking photos that are not meant to be taken, but it's it's kind of more, people are more curious about this, whereas the Efteling they release artwork and everything well beforehand at the moment for how things go. So it's going to be a double Mack Powered coaster, like I said, and I think they're saying it's going to be running in opposite directions from the station. They're going to use the existing station and some of this queue line structure from Bob, so I guess it's not going to be a tremendous amount of work. They'll just be removing Bob over the winter months and then installing this coaster. Bob is closing this month, so I think you can still ride it right now. So it's going to close very soon, next couple of weeks, and then that'll be that. And then we'll be very curious to see what this looks like. Is it going to be something a little bit more interesting than Runaway at Alton Towers? We'll see. The coaster coming after that, so this is opening 2020. The coaster coming after that, 2021. We also know quite a few things about. It's going to be a circus-themed launch coaster. It's definitely going to be a launch coaster, going by what I've been reading in all these articles, but we don't know exactly what. Is it going to be something like Taron, or it's probably going to be close to something like Hagrid's Magical Creatures motorbike adventure. Some people have said it's definitely going to be a motorbike one, so I don't know. But that, I guess, would fit in with the circus theme to a certain extent. You see motorbikes in circuses, so, who knows. Definitely would be cool if it's something like this, because, it's got six or seven launches, doesn't it, Hagrid's, and it looks awesome. Not ridden it yet, but it does look really good for a family-based ride. And that would do really well, I think, in Efteling, because at the moment, this is the only problem I would say the Efteling has got, is that the rides are kind of short, and you can see that in just their 6 coaster lineup. So what's of course going to happen next year when Bob closes, it's just going to be replaced with Max Moritz, still going to have 6. But hopefully the year after that, 2021, they'll finally get their 7th coaster. And I'm hoping it's going to be a lot longer than what we've got. You know, the longest coasters, I don't think, reach 3,000 feet even. So Joris and the Draak is probably the longest one, which is great. Great coaster, great racing GCI. I don't think it's quite as good as the one at Toverland Troy, but it's very good. It's quite intense. It's probably the most intense coaster at Efteling, I would say. But a lot of people, of course, are intimidated by dive coasters. Baron is quite good. Nice theming. It's not the tallest, but it's good fun. I like dive coasters personally, but Oblivion is definitely better, I think, even though it's only got a drop. So Folklore Rock is something I quite like as well, and Python, they had the entire track replaced last year from the left hole onwards, so they're keeping that one going for sure, even though it's a decent age. It's coming up for 30 years. 40 years I'm talking about. Folklore Rock is it's another coaster that's 20 years old now, for Coma Indoor. Quite good, but not the longest, but it's good fun. There's wind machines inside, I believe, and that really makes it feel a lot faster than this. Anyway, going back to the sort of master plan of Efteling, where the coasters are going to be located. So this is the theme park area, car park, and this is the entire theme park. And of course, pretty much in the center, we've got Bob, and that's where the Max Moritz family coaster is going to be, the Mack Powered one. As for the circus themed coaster, I think there is a working title for that. I forgot to mention that. It's Circus Balance, so balancing circus. And that's going to be located near the hotel. I don't know if it's going to be down here. There's a bit of land here. I think the Efteling owns all of this now. Or if they're going to eat into this sort of foresty area, who knows where it's exactly going to be. But this is definitely earmarked for expansion, this entire bit of land. What's interesting, of course, is that there's a road here, so who knows what's going to happen with that, if there's going to be bridges or the road is just going to disappear. No idea what agreements the Efteling has got with the local government about that. But what is interesting to see is that you can see in another article I found about the expansions is just how far Efteling has expanded over the years. In 1940 it was just a sort of walking park, and then it finally got a name in 1950. In 1960 they actually started with the Fairytale Forest, which is really the heart of Efteling. That's really where Efteling got its popularity from in the Netherlands. So you can still walk through that and you see all the little fairy tales like Red Riding Hood and things like that. There's loads of things to see where they've visualized those fairy tales, basically. 1970, 1990 is really when the park got most of its rides, its staple rides like Python. That's kind of in the... I visited this park as a small kid. I used to live in the Netherlands, so I visited in the 80s and 90s quite a lot. So I saw it grow. The entrance used to be up here, from what I remember. And then, in 2000 they got a much larger entrance, which is that imposing building you see. Let's see if it's here. There's a nice photo of that on RCBB. It's a really nice structure, a really nice entrance. It's probably one of the nicest entrances out there, I would say. Disneyland Paris, I think, is very nice as well. But this is it's great. It looks great at night, obviously. And it is a theme park you can't actually visit later on in the day, because in the summer they do open till 11 o'clock at night, which is great. 2000, so we got this, and they opened a golf course. 2010, they had a holiday village added, and another holiday village is being added right now, or is already finished. I'm not quite sure what the status is, but they expanded the parking. I remember having to park there last year, and when it came October, it was very early, so I was here, but in April I was a little bit later arriving at the park, so I had to park somewhere around here. So yeah, you can see that this is the whole land that is definitely going to be expanded. I think that's all been agreed, so that's fine. But as for going forward, I think the government is trying to rein that in. A lot of the people that live in Kaatsheuvel, which is right next to the park, of course, are against a lot of this. So the main government in the Netherlands is is making this a little bit harder. So who knows if it's actually going to happen. If you think about it, like parks like Fantasieland, they of course have done a lot with much less space. So maybe that's the direction that Efteling will have to head in if it cannot expand. So we'll see what happens with that in the future. But anyway, these are the two coasters coming up at the Efteling 2020, 2021. Will you be going out there? Are you curious about this Mack Powered Coaster, or are you gonna be like, nah, I'm not gonna ride that. I'm not sure myself. To be fair, I'll probably have a look at what it's really gonna look like, and it might be better than we think. So who knows? But I'll definitely be interested to see what happens with the next one. I'm hoping that's going to be quite a bit of money spent on that, and that could be a really cool roller coaster, the family launcher. So that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and give it a thumbs up if you did. And I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.